To say the least, Week 12 in the National Football League was crazy. The Red Zone Studios was evacuated. Thankfully, everybody's safe after a crazy fire alarm incident. The Eagles win in overtime after a 59-yard field goal with Jake Elliott. The Patriots lose again, and, well, they lost because, the 30-yard field goal was no good with better conditions in New Jersey compared to what Philadelphia had. And what else is new? A 100-yard pick six in the Jets Bills game, giving the Dolphins a pick six touchdown. What a crazy game. Oh, and other news too, the Devils played tonight versus the Islanders and the Rangers lost last night. You're watching the 12th Horseshoe podcast right here on Surge Sports. Happy Rangers lost Tuesday and happy New Jersey Devils game tonight happening
Rangers
right now
are still in first
on
place.
MSP Networks. I'm Elijah White. I'm joined alongside Jack Rizzo. Welcome to the 12th Horseshoe podcast. We have a crazy breakdown to happen. As a reminder, the Thanksgiving games and the Black Friday game recaps and reaction all happened last week, so take a look on Surge Sports YouTube for our last coverage of that game. We have, in the meantime, I believe 12 games to recap today, including 2 primetime games. To let you know how we did, we both went 2-1 on LSU, Lock Survivor, and Upset, both incorrect on Upset. And Jack went 11-5 this week, and I went 10-6 this week. So we have a lot to cover tonight in a very short period of time. So we all cannot wait for everything to get underway. Should be a lot of fun here tonight. We'll start off with the Falcons over the Saints, 24-15. The Falcons woke up for once. The offense was on point, back on point, especially Bijan Robinson. The defense followed suit. The Saints look different in some ways, and they have a good matchup up ahead versus the Lions, while the Jets have the Falcons this weekend. Jack, overall, how are you doing? And tell us about this Falcons-Saints game.
Well, I'm doing great, especially since the Colts got back in the win column this past weekend over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It did not come at a cost, so we'll get to that in a little bit. This is one of the few games. This is one of the several games this weekend that determined one of 3 games this week that determined first place in a division. Big one here in Atlanta. Falcons, a 2-game losing streak. Both teams coming off their bye. We both picked the Saints to win, but the Falcons really came out to play. They finally learned how to use Bijan. I mean, it's only 12 weeks too late, but hey, better late than never. He had 2 touchdowns, 1 rushing, 1 receiving. The Falcons defense had one of their best games of the season. They held the Saints to 0 touchdowns on the day. The Saints continue to just be a really frustrating team to watch this season. They've had so many chances to run away with this division, and they just fail every single week. And now they are on the outside looking in this division. Tampa Bay not 100% out of it either. This is just a really frustrating loss for the Saints on the road. And the Falcons have a game against the Jets next week, which they definitely should win. So it's a pretty tough loss for the Saints. But it was just one of those games
and
where
we both got the pick
it's awful, and that Derek Carr contract not looking great right now at all.
Absolutely not. And we both got the pick wrong for those of you interested. And now, before we move on to the next game, let's talk about Aaron Rodgers real quick. He was on the Pat McAfee show today and said, well, he may return. He's going to practice. And number one is going to be the health and also where they stand in the playoffs. Right now, the Jets are in the potential spot, or in the hut, as the NFL calls it, to get a wild card spot. So basically, if the Jets win games and decide to be good New York Jets, then you may see the return of Aaron Rodgers. If not, Aaron Rodgers will just skip out for the rest of the season and hold off till next week. Big test, obviously, this weekend as they take on the Atlanta Falcons. When you look at Aaron Rodgers, Jack, what do you think about all this going on? And do you think he will return regardless of how the Jets do? And will the Jets make the playoffs? Will we see Aaron Rodgers before 2023-2024 season ends?
First of all, why in the world would you rush a 40-year-old quarterback, or he's going to be 40 in 4 days? Why would you rush a 40-year-old?
His choice.
Why would you rush a 40? That doesn't matter. If you're 40, it doesn't matter. Why would you rush an injury like this when you are that old? And probably more likely prone to get another injury. Although I do find it funny how Aaron Rodgers on the first series he ever played in MetLife, he popped his Achilles. Meanwhile, playing on the hard Green Bay surface for 15 years, he never got any injuries. Pretty funny how that works. But there's no
MetLife is
reason to rush him
different.
back.
Everybody got hurt there.
The Jets are going to be out of the playoff race by the time Aaron Rodgers comes back. There's no reason for him to come back if they're not going to make the playoffs. Just wait till next year, get some more pieces in the offseason, move on from Zach Wilson, because it looks like Zach Wilson is not the problem. It looks like the coaching or the offensive line is the actual problem, because Tim Boyle played even worse than Zach Wilson did.
Oh, yeah. And they're giving him another shot this weekend.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. They put up 13 points last week. They'll be lucky to get half of that this week. So let's see what happens. But there's no point in rushing Aaron Rodgers back. I think there are just a lot of teams in the AFC that are better and that are going to make the playoffs. So the Jets should just put this season to bed and honestly start Zach Wilson. Just see what you have in him. There's no reason to be starting a veteran quarterback who doesn't really have any upside. So I don't know what's going on with the Jets, but bringing Aaron Rodgers back to me just doesn't sound like a realistic solution to their problems.
All right, the next game on our list is going to be the Steelers over the Bengals 16-10. The Bengals did not look good at all throughout the game. They kept it close at a point, but it finally showed without Joe Burrow, they cannot win games, and it clearly showed. They played a very close game. Keep in mind, however, the Steelers are back in it. They played normal football with a great game. The Bengals have the Jaguars on Monday night this week, while the Steelers have the Cardinals at 1 p.m. on CBS. What are your thoughts on this game? Obviously, without Joe Burrow, this is a different Bengals team.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's the heart and soul of this Bengals team. I mean, they didn't really look like anything out there against one of the best defenses in the NFL. Jake Browning actually didn't play that bad of a game, so I'll give him some credit. But I want to talk about the Steelers more. I know scoring 16 points doesn't sound great, but that does not tell the story. The offense looked a whole lot better without Matt Canada. The first game, he was not the coordinator this season on Sunday. Kenny Pickett looked a lot more comfortable. Got the ball to his running backs, got it to his receivers. They ran the ball a lot better. And Mike Tomlin is just one of the best head coaches in the league. And that's a big win for the Steelers, getting to 7-4 and pretty much have a gimme win next week over the Arizona Cardinals at home. So
we have
big win for the Steelers. And they have to be very happy that they fired Matt Canada, the best move they made all offseason.
Well, we both got the Steelers pick right. Meanwhile, we have a comment from Kurt, our guy. What's up, boys? And how about them Broncos, baby? Let's go. And you have every right to say that because they play truly amazing. And I think you have a show tonight, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll catch on later, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, stay tuned for him. He's all in on high school sports. I believe playoffs are tonight, too. I believe DePaul's playing, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a pretty big matchup in North Jersey, MetLife Stadium, too, in the cold weather. Jaguars over Texans. Well, we have a comment. It is live update, non-public final. Red Bank Catholic 14, DePaul Catholic 7. 2:40 left in the game. Woohoo! That's a very good game. All right, well, it's be an interesting road. I don't know. I think DePaul might take the victory here, but we'll see what happens. Thanks, Kurt, for the live updates. Let's go over to the Jaguars Texans.
Another first place game.
Yes, Jaguars over the Texans 24-21. The Texans were not themselves this weekend. C.J. Stroud, still the person, still the man, still the quarterback that we all love and trust. Meanwhile, the Jaguars played another game that ended up playing and benefited them. The Waffle House offense crew did it again, and they're celebrating Waffle House style, even though they didn't, but they will in the playoffs win if they do make it. So it should be another fun road for them. Jaguars are doing good again. Jaguars have the Bengals on Monday night. Texans have the Broncos. That is the flex schedule swap, so they're at 1 o'clock on CBS. So what are your thoughts on that game?
That is right. What a big time win for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They remain undefeated on the road this season. They are having quite the season now, 8-3. Trevor Lawrence, maybe his best game of the season. Calvin Ridley, a big game. Really, everyone on offense played really well. Made a couple of mistakes. Maybe the refs were a little bad in this game on both sides. The Texans their offense just got going a little bit too late in this one. No shame though in losing to a great Jacksonville team like this, a team that they had really no business. We thought they had no business competing with them this well once the season started. So give a lot of credit to the Texans. C.J. Stroud still played very well, and they were a crossbar away from potentially sending this game into overtime. But this is a crushing loss for the Texans, and this is huge for the Colts because the Colts now move into second place in the division and now a tiebreaker ahead of the Texans than the AFC wildcard standings. And that Texans game next week is going to be massive. And the Jags back home on Monday night to take on the Bengals. I can't remember the last time the Jags had a primetime game at home. It's been a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. Next game on the list will be the Colts Buccaneers 27-20. The Colts played a close game, but a good win nonetheless. A crucial game coming up versus the Tennessee Titans, which they're losing because Tennessee has not lost a game home yet this season. The Buccaneers may just need to end this season because it's not looking good for them. They have the Panthers this upcoming week. They could get some wins, but again, a wishy-washy team to look out for. Buccaneers home to take on the Panthers. Colts got the Titans. Jonathan Taylor will be out for 2 to 3 weeks due to his surgery. Jack will talk more about the Colts tomorrow on his show, the Horseshoe Show, that airs every Wednesday over on Surge Sports. But in the meantime, what can you tell us about this game?
Oh, it was a fun one. Let me tell you, man. We talk about D'Amico Ryans and Mike Tomlin, Nick Sirianni, all these guys that coach your conversation. Put some respect on Shane Steichen's name. I understand the Texans and all these teams playing well. The Colts are doing this without their rookie quarterback, without their star running back for most of the year, and with two of our best players on defense, one of them being suspended and the other just not being himself. We ended up releasing him. We are still 6-5 and contending. We have absolutely no business playing this well, but we are. Shane Steichen has just been calling fantastic game plans. Gardner Minshew is getting it done. Michael Pittman is one of the most underrated receivers in the NFL. Hey, Tyler Lockett and Adam Thielen are probably the most underrated receivers in the NFL. Jonathan Taylor and Zach Moss, probably the best rushing duo in the NFL. The offensive line is playing better. The defense, after three horrible performances in a row, have had three straight great games and a 3-game winning streak for the Colts. They are up to 6-5 now in the season. And we currently hold the final wildcard spot in the AFC thanks to Buffalo losing, which we'll get to in a little bit. What a game that was, by the way, in the late window. But a great win for the Colts. As for Tampa Bay, I have a ton of respect for Baker Mayfield. That guy is just an absolute gamer. He works so hard. I really hope Baker's able to succeed. And he was playing this game through a bad ankle and all. So ton of respect for Baker. Mike Evans, a great game. But the Bucs had horrible clock management. They had lots of drops in this game. And I think it's only a matter of time before Todd Bowles gets fired. Tampa Bay, though, still, even at 4-7, they're not out of the playoff race just yet. But they can only afford probably like 2 more losses if they want a chance to win the NFC South.
All right. I think you said enough. And that really does it for us. We'll have more in just a second. Just let you know we were both right about the picks.
Yep.
Both wrong about the Texans. Next game on the list. Why do we have to talk about this one? Giants over the Patriots 10-7. The Patriots stink, and that's the bottom line. They couldn't make a field goal. Let's just start with that. Meanwhile, the Giants, they got a touchdown and a field goal. And as Tommy DeVito says, like that. Because Tommy DeVito got his first win as the QB, second win, and first win at home as a QB. He had his own chicken parm sandwich from Sea Caucus, from what NFL Network said. And he also had whatever this is. He said, something like that. With the emoji like that. I don't know. Interesting thing. There's no excuse for the Patriots, though. They can't make a field goal. If Jake Elliott could do a 59 yards in the pouring rain, there's no excuse for the Patriots. Shame on them. The Giants are lucky to get a victory. So to get a victory like that, pretty good. And they have a bye week this week. This will help. And yeah, Jack, I was wrong about the pick. Jack was right about the pick.
That's right. Well, let's just say this is not exactly the Giants-Patriots games that we've had in the past. These two teams are very different from what they were in 2008 and 2012. But
yeah.
I mean, kind of a fun game just because of how bad it was. It was so bad that it was good. Just both offenses couldn't get anything going. Mac Jones, 3 interceptions in the first half. Bailey Zappi came in, threw an interception. Maybe the kicker miss it on purpose? It's kind of like the Tank Bowl, because whichever team lost this game would have a better chance of getting a high draft pick. I believe that the season and say the Patriots would be picking 2nd or 3rd overall in the draft. Yes. So just it's crazy. I can't believe we're standing here. I picked the Patriots to be in the playoffs in the beginning of the season, but let's not go any further into that before Eli roasts me about that. But anyway, Tommy DeVito.
I don't want to roast you. Really well.
Tommy DeVito has already more wins than Daniel Jones did in his starts this season. And the Giants defense pretty underrated. So no, they're not going to make the playoffs, but maybe they can play spoiler. But they still have 2 games against the Eagles, so I don't really know how if that's going to happen. But Eli.
Yeah. All right, just to give you a live update for the non-public because I'm actually watching the game on the side of me right now. It looks like the DePaul just got another first down. So pretty cool for DePaul. All right, Titans over the Panthers, 17-10. Frank Reich has officially been fired from the Carolina Panthers. An interesting decision.
There it is.
Maybe it's the quarterback though. Only time will tell. As they do have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 4 or 5 p.m. Also part of the flex schedule this upcoming weekend. Panthers stink regardless. Maybe it's Bryce Young in the offense, though. Some interesting changes in the coaching. The Titans played a great game overall. Offense okay, defense not bad for the Titans, but they can win at home and not away. But let's just say this. What are your thoughts on Frank Reich and the Panthers? Let's start with that first before we go into the actual game. By the way, we were both right on the pick about the Titans, and Jack got it right for Survivor.
Yep. Well, first off, if you guys did not see my Frank Reich rants before today, previously, go back and check them out. I believe after week 2, I ranted about how bad Frank Reich is. But it ultimately culminates here as he gets fired 11 games into the season, the second shortest coaching tenure in NFL history. Only some guy for the 49ers like 1979 was worse.
Yeah.
Even Urban Meyer outlasted Frank Reich. Now, first off, let me say that Frank is a great guy, and I hope he does really well. I hope he's definitely going to get a good offensive job somewhere.
Oh, absolutely, like, somewhere.
As a special assistant or as a coordinator or whatever.
Maybe for the Patriots.
Maybe the Eagles, because that's where he had all his success with. And the Eagles offense needs some help. Their coordinator
they're 10-1.
Yeah, but listen though, the Eagles are 10-1. They are not.
You will not see any changes.
The Eagles are 10-1, but they are, to me, they are missing Shane Steichen, the Colts head coach. Every Eagles fan wants to fire their offensive coordinator. That's how bad he's been. But back to Frank Reich. Let me say that honestly, call me crazy, Eli. This is not his fault. This is the Panthers' ownership fault.
Correct.
Because they were the ones who wanted Bryce Young. They were the ones who gave up all this draft capital to take Bryce Young. Frank Reich wanted CJ Stroud. All the signs point to that. He did not want Bryce Young. The owner forced him to take Bryce Young. And basically, Frank Reich got fired because it wasn't working with him and a quarterback that he even won. Before Bryce Young, he didn't even have a quarterback that was under 6'4". Bryce Young is 5'10", and basically the size of the football itself.
Absolutely.
So I don't understand how this is Frank Reich's fault. Frank Reich was 40-33-1 in Indianapolis with a new starting quarterback every year. The Carolina Panthers owner, David Tepper, is 30-63 since taking over as the owner in 2018. I am just absolutely disgusted by how bad this ownership is. They don't even have a first-round pick next year, which might be ended up being the number 1 overall pick because of the Chicago Bears. Carolina's just a mess right now. I really feel bad for Bryce Young. He's just in a horrible situation right now. He's got no help around him. And the team came out and admitted today that their original plan was to go up to number 2 and take CJ Stroud. Like, why would you admit that? Like, do you really think that's going to make your quarterback feel better? It's just absolutely pathetic from the Panthers ownership. And now they're stuck paying 2 coaches that don't even work for them anymore. And not only Frank Reich, the Panthers also fired quarterbacks coach Josh McCown, who a lot of people know was a quarterback in the NFL for about 20 years. And they fired running back coach / assistant coach Deuce Staley. So major changes in Carolina. The special teams coach will be the interim head coach. I'm going to pull up his name right now. Chris Tabor. Chris Tabor is the interim coach for Carolina. I haven't even said anything about Tennessee yet, but a good win for them. I mean, it was a pretty ugly game, so I don't really have much more to add. But Tennessee is 4-0 at Nissan Stadium and 0-7 everywhere else.
Okay. I think
that's by the way, Eli, the Islanders have just taken a 1-0 lead over the Devils.
Whatever, Jack. There was a big sack in the DePaul Catholic game. I believe it's 4th and 25 at the moment. So big play coming up for the DePaul Catholic. 34 seconds left. So taking a look at that game. And since we're getting off the Islanders topic, Jack.
Let's talk about the NFL standings. You were the first one who brought it up, Eli.
Eagles are 10-1, 93 Ravens, 83 Cowboys, Lions, Jaguars, Chiefs, Dolphins, 49ers. It looks like Red Bay Catholic has just won. 74 Browns and Steelers, 65 Broncos, Texans, Colts, Seahawks, Bills, Vikings, 6-6, 5-6 Falcons, Bengals, Packers, Rams, Saints, 5-7 Raiders. 4-7 Chargers, Jets, Buccaneers, Titans. 4-8 Bears, Giants, Commanders. 2-9 Patriots. 2-10 Cardinals. 1-10 Panthers. Looks like there's a flag in the play in the Red Bank game. I'm listening to it in my ear right now while I'm reading all this stuff off. Let's go to the next game while we try to figure out the flag. Oh, Red Bank got a first down. Sorry about that. I just had to take a look to see what happened. Hi, bud. All right. Rams over Cardinals, 37-14. The Rams are good, but only good against weak teams. A great day for the offense, not bad for the defense. Cardinals are going to win much more, but they may win one more game. I don't know how much more. Interesting trouble there. The Cardinals travel to Pittsburgh to take on the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania Steelers. Would be able to CBS, while the Rams are home to take on the Browns. 4:25 p.m. on Fox. Sorry if I'm talking really fast. Go ahead, Jack. Talk about this game. By the way, I got this pick right, and for some reason, Jack chose the Cardinals. When he got that pick wrong.
They almost beat the Texans last week. I thought at least they'd have some effort at home, but no. I'm not going to talk about it that much because I'm mad that I got this wrong. But hey, Kyron Williams is a beast, so I'll say that. And maybe the Rams are only one game back of the Seahawks, Eli, so you better watch out.
Whatever, Jack.
And they swept you.
Whatever, Jack. In the meantime, Red Bank Catholic has officially won the non-public B state championship. Final score 14-7. If you're interested in knowing, so catch Kurt for the all in high school sports reaction and breakdown. Broncos over Browns 29-12. Kurt's team, and guess what, has every right to be celebrating because the Broncos are doing good again. Sean Payton might actually be the answer, but are going to lose next week to the Texans. Sneak peek preview. Browns unable to succeed. Interesting matchup to come. Broncos take on the Texans next week, and the Browns travel to Englewood, California to take on the Rams. So what are your thoughts on this game, Jack?
I told you the Broncos were going to win. Why would you pick the Browns? They have a quarterback who has like 3 names in his actual name. And the Broncos defense, they dominated this game. Russell Wilson cooked again, let Russ cook, and Broncos country is riding right now. 5-game winning streak. They now have the same record as the Seahawks, so Eli can no longer say the Seahawks won that trade. The Broncos able to win it. They actually never.
We'll see who wins the Super Bowl first.
Wow. Okay, I didn't realize how aggressive you get, but
I'm sorry, Jack.
More importantly, the Broncos won.
I just had to mention that. Who's going to win the Super Bowl? Who's going to go far in the playoffs? It's going to be the Seattle Seahawks, not the Denver Broncos.
That is if the Seattle makes it there. They have to
yes,
play
they
the
will,
Cowboys.
Jack.
All right. Okay. All right. Relax. Anyways, what a win for the Broncos. They're going to beat the Texans next week. They're going to keep winning these games. And what a win for the Broncos. And the Browns are going to start to lose some games. Their luck is going to start to run out. In fact, I think they're going to lose to the Rams next week.
This show's got out of hand.
All right, next game.
Chiefs over the Raiders, 31-17. The Chiefs are the Chiefs. They play good while they can. We are both right about the Chiefs to game pick. The Raiders play the Chiefs, so only time will tell on what they decide to do. The Raiders are on bye this next week. The Chiefs have a Sunday Night Football game on NBC as they take on the Packers. What are your thoughts on this game? As I'm sorry, Jack, if I was yelling. I have faith in the Seahawks, and you don't maybe, but I do.
We know how much you hate the Broncos, but anyways, the Raiders took a 14-0 lead over the Chiefs, only to be outscored 31-3 the rest of the way. The receivers finally learned how to catch the ball this week, thank goodness. And the Raiders just were not able to capitalize on their big performance to start the game, and they ended up losing their second straight, 5-7. I don't see them really being much of a threat. We'll see what the Chiefs are able to do, but it's a nice win for them. And a tough loss for the Raiders as they head into their bye week.
The game of the week turned into the best game of the week. Eagles over the Bills in overtime, 37-34. It started with Jake Elliott sending it to overtime with a 59-yard field goal kick. We were both correct on the pick. And Jalen Hulu has live sports, does it again with a touchdown. The Bills played a close game. Josh Allen is now 0-7 in overtime. Bills on a bye, perfect timing. Eagles are home to take on the 49ers. For another game of the week next week.
Might be game of the year. Forget game of the week.
So, what are your thoughts on this game?
What a crazy game it was. All the missed field goals, the penalties, the back and forth. This was just an awesome football game. Josh Allen and the Bills played their hearts out. Joe Brady looks like a perfect fit as the coordinator, but the Bills now fall to 0-6 in overtime since Sean McDermott took over there as the coach. What a comeback win for the Philadelphia Eagles, down by 10 multiple times in this game. They come back and win it. Jalen Hurts playing on a bad knee and all. He is him. He is just the perfect fit in this Eagles offense. They can run the ball, they can throw the ball, they can score points whatever way they need to. They've got the tush push, they've got the deep ball, they've got the swag, they've got everything. Those boys down there in Philly, they know how to play some football.
And one thing,
play this game though, Jake Elliott, a 59-yard field goal in the cold, in the rain, in the wind, almost 59 yards out, half the length of the football field, and with all the pressure on him, with national eyes on him, and all of that, he
did
made the kick somehow, a line drive kick that just snuck inside the right upright. And that sent the game to overtime. The Bills got a field goal. They should have had a touchdown, but a misconnection. And then the Jalen Hurts on a quarterback draw walks it off. What a game this is. A heartbreaker, though, for the Bills, who now fall out of the playoff picture for now. They still have some time to make that back up. But just what a win for the Eagles. And they showed why they are the best team in the NFL, Eli.
Well, one thing. Fly, Eagles, fly on the road to victory. Fly, Eagles, fly on a touchdown. 1, 2, 3. Eagles, Eagles. That's all I got to say. Next game on the list, Ravens over Chargers on Sunday Night Football, 20-10. We are both correct on the pick. The Ravens are on point. They play the Chargers. Not much more to say. The Chargers stink. The Ravens are on bye this week. Chargers travel to Massachusetts to take on the Patriots for another game of the week there. What are your thoughts here? I mean, there's not much.
Yeah, the Chargers just continue to charge here. It's really all I've got to say. Justin Herbert, no protection around him. The Chargers defense is a joke.
They let the battery drain instead of charging up.
Yeah, the Ravens didn't really play that well, but they were able to get away with the wins. That's all that matters. And the Ravens look like maybe the best team in the AFC. They are still the top seed, and the Chargers can pretty much kiss the playoffs goodbye. So that's really all I've got to say.
So is the Patriots. Bears over the Vikings, 12-10. What a game that was. What a game that was.
Did you say that? I think you said that incorrectly, Eli.
No, I did.
There wasn't
12-10 was the final. Literally.
No.
Yeah. Google it.
No way.
Google it.
You're joking.
I'm not joking. Google it.
I'm joking. I'm just saying, how in the world was that the score?
Oh. I think maybe for real. Oh. Either way, I was right about the pick. Jack was wrong. That's all that matters. And,
it doesn't matter. I won the weekly pick. So.
Whatever, Jack. The Bears won, but only made it a field goal game. So shout out to special teams. Offense needs improvement as well as the defense. The Vikings are good. Had a good run while it lasted. But now Dobbs is Dobbs once more. And now the challenges are up next on what they face. Quickly, what are your thoughts on this game? I mean, let's talk about special teams. I mean, because that's all that you could talk about, really.
Yeah, maybe Josh Dobbs just stinks, and it was just luck. 4 interceptions against the Bears defense is pretty miserable. And how about the Bears defense? So they played a lot. Well, they had 3 interceptions on Goff last week and 4 this week. So they have 7 interceptions in the last 2 games. Justin Fields was extremely clutch, and DJ Moore, and the Bears won it at the buzzer, or not at the buzzer, with 10 seconds left. But I don't know, just a game between 2 wishy-washy teams. That's really all I've got to say.
All right, now time to make our Week 13 Thursday Night Football prediction as our Week 12 breakdown reactions are over. Thursday Night Football on Prime Video, 8:15 p.m. Dallas is in favor by 9 as the Seattle Seahawks travel to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. Keep in mind, the Seahawks are wearing the throwback jerseys, are currently 1-0 when wearing them. So that is why, for my upset of the week, the Seattle Seahawks over the Dallas Cowboys, 24-20.
No.
Okay.
The Cowboys have now lost at home this season, and the Seahawks are a wishy-washy team who can only beat up on the bad teams. They can't beat any good teams. So
they will beat the Dallas Cowboys. And
you said the same thing. You said the same thing for the 49ers last week. That didn't happen.
You'll have Stephen A. laughing on first.
Cowboys win 27-14 over the Seattle Seahawks. Kenneth Walker might not even play, so I just can't trust the Seahawks to win any more games this year. And they still have Dallas, San Fran, and Philly the next 3 weeks. So good luck, Eli. Best of luck to you.
Thanks, and we'll win all of them. That will do it for this week of the Week 12 Breakdown and Reactions video. Join us on Friday for Prediction Friday and our recap of Thursday Night Football on Prime Video. Until Friday, go Devils, go Seahawks,
go Colts, go Rangers, and tonight, go Islanders.
And join.
Yes.
No.
Yes,
Jack,
yes.
no.
All right, that's the end of the street. That's the end of the podcast. Hey, everyone.